Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, wherever you are in the world. This is Karen Bartle. Welcome to the Marketing Reef, Get More Customers. So this is the show where we feature special guests who have some great know-how in terms of using tactics and strategies to market business. And today we have some special guests. We have Robyn.
Hello.
Welcome, Robyn. From Reed Marketing, we have Deborah. Hello, Deborah.
Hello, everybody.
From MJL Publications. And we have Blaise from Busybird Publishing. Good morning to you all. How are we all?
Awesome.
Great, thank you. A bit cold in Melbourne.
Cold, I can imagine it's cold in Melbourne, eh? You've had a good old cold snap down there, right?
Yep.
So I'm going to let these lovely ladies just introduce a little bit about what they do. I'm sure they'll all work in certain arenas, certain niches. They work with certain business owners for certain purposes. So perhaps it's a little bit of an intro to each of you. Do you want to start, Deborah, and just explain a little bit about what you do?
Okay, so I sort of fell into what I do. I'm a counsellor, that's my background. And I wanted to help somebody else to get their business established, and we decided to do a little PDF of stories of people who'd gone down a particular path. And I'm talking about going green and taking chemicals out of their foods and their environments to help with childhood development and illness in general. So, and we just did a bit of research, and I stumbled across print on demand. And at that stage, I think Ingram Spark had been going for like 12 months. So it was fairly new technology, or certainly fairly new in terms of the public having access to it. And I loved the process. We just fell into it, created a compilation book, loved helping other people to become authors. That's something that I really value, and I imagine the other ladies here, that's something that they value as well. Giving a voice to people, isn't it? So just kept doing it part-time, and just over 18 months ago now I decided to go into it full-time. There's a massive market. Yes, a lot of people have really important things to say and talk about, and I'm so happy to be able to help facilitate that.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Deborah. It's good to know a little bit more about you, and I'm sure our audience is enjoying that too. Robyn, tell us a little bit about you and where you are, where you're from.
Yeah, well, I live in the sunny, although it's not so much today, Noosa, on the Sunshine Coast. I relocated here 3 years ago from Sydney, and very grateful every day that I live here. But I'm a little bit different to the other two in that we publish magazines as opposed to books. So, but still a similar thing to Deborah, though, you know, enabling our clients to get their message out there, just in a different format, but very much the same feeling of Deborah, of being able to let business owners, entrepreneurs, people with a cause. We're actually about to launch a magazine called Plastic Free Planet for a similar reason to what you talked about. So we've got, you know, all sorts of genres that we work with. I've spent, 20 years in magazine publishing, and the world's very different now when it comes to magazine publishing. There's lots of empty desks, and, people are going, people don't read magazines anymore. And certainly in the traditional format of, a magazine that's printed and at a newsagent, absolutely. There's no doubt about it that that's a changing world now. But we are using magazines as a tool to wrap up content in what's still perceived as a pretty valuable asset, and allowing content to be really dynamic. And obviously with the more issues we can do, the more content we can get out there. And it also positions our clients as editors-in-chief of a particular niche. So we've got some clients who have gone from being really unknown to the editor-in-chief of a particular magazine and are getting calls from the media and, spending 30 minutes on radio and because of their status. So, yeah, it's a really powerful tool for business owners to use, as the other two ladies I'm sure understand, to be able to create positioning and to get a story out there. So, yeah, it's fun. And, having nearly 30 magazines in our stable keeps us all very busy, which is great.
Awesome. Good job. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. And last but not least, Blaise, tell us a little bit about you and where you are.
Yeah. I'm in not so sunny Melbourne. As you can see, I'm all rugged up. I haven't thawed out yet, and it is after 11. So I own Busybird Publishing. We've been publishing for about 10 years. We have helped about over 300, might be closer to 350 people to self-publish their books. We are a bit more like a hybrid publisher. We do help people with the self-publishing, but we also publish quite a few of our own books as well. So, and it really has just come from, as Deborah said before, the love of, helping people, facilitating that journey into having their story out there. Because so many people have amazing stories and just don't know where to go or how to do it. And it does feel like everyone is writing a book, but I think a lot of people are actually just talking about it. I don't think they're actually doing it. And so we work with a lot of entrepreneurs and small business owners, but we also work with people who might be just writing poetry or their family history or anything like that. But I would say about 80% of the books that we publish are with small business owners. And, we can help with the writing or the publishing. And I have really seen that for so many of these people, not only has the book really helped their business, but it's actually helped them in their self-development and to focus on exactly what they do and, what offerings they have for people. It really actually helps them work that out. And I'm sure all of you find that's the same.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure. Thanks for that introduction. That's awesome. So for the audience knows a little bit about your business and what you do and where you are. So I thought today for our audience, knowing this audience well, small business owners, a lot of people now, it seems that everybody's in the knowledge and the idea that you can create your own publications these days. It didn't used to be that way, but even though this is probably one of the oldest traditions in the world ever in the universe. Publishing something and getting it out there, but traditionally you had to go through a publishing company of sorts, and it was pretty costly and time consuming, and and these days it seems that everyone, no matter how small you are, can actually get a book out there. So what is, we've talked a little bit there in terms of your introductions in terms of what publishing is, and you can do it with magazines, or you can do it self-publishing, or you can do it kind of with a company, or do it in a magazine, or you can do it in a little publication, or even an ebook these days, right? So what are the benefits is I guess people would be looking at in terms of publishing? What are the benefits of actually spending time, effort, energy and money in terms of putting pen to paper or fingers to keyboards these days to get a book out there? Who wants to kick us off with that? Do you want to have a go with that, Robyn?
Sure. I thought Deborah would jump into that one, but I saw her lips move.
You're
so I
all
was
quick
waiting,
for me.
but look, for us, particularly with magazines, why would a business owner, particularly a small business owner, look at putting together a magazine? And I think for us, not only is it about getting their story out there, which is obviously super important, but it's also positioning. So it's a really crowded, noisy marketplace out there now, and business owners are struggling to feed the beasts of everything that is social media, the LinkedIns, the Facebooks, Instagrams, and all those sort of things. So for us to separate our clients from the competition, I mean, one of the greatest tools that, it's sort of a secret tool and a secret weapon that only, the people I'm speaking to today would know about is, being able to put yourself as an author or an authority, as I saw on Deborah's website, the authority. And for us, I did a bit of, I like to know who I'm hanging out with.
Yeah, research, we'll call it.
I was stalking you for a bit, but for us as editor-in-chief, it instantly creates credibility. And I mean, one story of a client we were working with, he's a consultant, and we hadn't even had a chance to, we were in the throes of putting his magazine together, but we created the cover, and one of the things we say is go and change your LinkedIn profile. And he went and changed his LinkedIn profile to editor-in-chief, not changed it, but added it as one of his roles. Yeah. And instantly he was getting requests for speaking in this particular niche that he created a magazine for, because it gives them that separation from the competition. The other thing it does is, just like a book, is that we wrap up content in a format that people see of value. So, I can't remember, I actually interviewed Neil Patel last week, who's a very big guru marketer, and I think he quoted some crazy figure of 1 billion blogs out there now. So to try and get your message heard and separated from every other blogger, you know, to be able to put it into a book or a magazine format, it gives it that little bit of extra credibility that, you know, and it shows a little bit more that you've wrapped it up. And then the great thing is you can grab all the content in there, and I call it tentacles. So I create tentacles of content. So we strip out quotes and memes and, you know, reference articles. And so the content, rather than just sitting wrapped up in the magazine and being, you know, great, but not great if nobody reads it, we use that to push out to all of our to all of the clients' network. So it you know, solves the problem of what the hell do I say on Facebook today. We use it in that regard.
Having content these days is hard because you've got to put so much out in so many different ways, so many different
100%.
platforms.
Yeah,
it's getting tough for people to find the content in the first place to put out there. So Deborah, in terms of people, because there are still 2 ways to go, right? There's still, if you can afford it and the time's not a problem, you can put it out there with a company. But talk us through the difference between somebody who would do that, who would outsource it completely and say, look, here's my text, do something with it, compared to the people who want to self-publish. What's the difference for people who
the process, very much the process. So I particularly like to work with people who want to go through the process themselves. There are publishers out there who you can transcribe, have your, like to speak your book or your content and have it transcribed. That's a great way. At the end of the day, I guess the important thing is that you have a book. But for me personally, like I wanted to be an author from the time I was about 13 or 14. It's the process very much that matters to me, and that's what I particularly like to work with. But I also acknowledge, because of the audience we're talking to today, time is very much a factor for people in small business, massive factor. Resources. So addressing that when it comes to books, it does give you authority to have a book. It does separate you from your competition. So doing that as efficiently as possible. And I do talk to small business people about the process itself, depending on what they do. So if they're a coach and they're coming from a space of, I've had this experience and I want to build a business around it, they might appreciate going through the process of actually writing their story and getting it out there. But someone else might just want the book, want the authority, and it's not the process that matters. So as efficiently as possible to get that done, that's really important, and cost effective too.
Okay, so it's more. Are you saying it's more costly to outsource than it is to do yourself?
Absolutely.
Would it be? Yeah.
Because well, I suppose if you add up your own time, if you add up your own time, the cost, maybe it's not. But you know, you're paying someone else to do it. I guess if someone is super efficient, like if you're talking about a ghostwriter, for example, you know, it could be well and truly worth it if your time is worth so much more than you're paying someone to do that. So you've got to weigh those things up.
So if
ghostwriting can still take, you know, 3 to 6 months anyway. So the time factor is the kind of similar.
So for you, Blaise, you've I saw you in the bookshop earlier on your video, and you know, you've got a great massive backlog of stuff that you've helped people with. In terms of you know, the time frame. So in terms of, does it depend on what kind of book people are producing, like as to the time frame and the cost? Like,
and that's the thing. There are so many ways that you can create content. As Robyn was saying before, you know, you might have a whole lot of blogs, so you could actually collect, you know, your 20 most popular blogs and put them into a book, and so you have instant content there. Or as Deborah said, you know, you can speak it out. So there's lots of different ways you can put it together. So, you know, you could, if you really were organised, you could write a book in a week, or take a weekend to talk it out if you wanted to. And it does depend on the book. There's, you know, a book could be 20,000 words or it could be 80,000 words. So there are so many variables. And so many people come to us and say, how much does it cost to publish a book? And you go, well, how long is a piece of string? And, you know, we do have packages on our website, but I have never actually sold a package as is from the website, because I believe that every person's story is unique and every book is different. Everyone has a different reason for doing it and different outcome that they want. So I like to sit down and talk to them about why are you doing it and what do you want to get out of it. And so, you know, we've worked with people to write and publish a book, and I think our record is about 47 days for the whole process, but I wouldn't recommend that. It's really intense. But this person was ultra organised, knew exactly what she wanted, and so it was like bang, bang, bang. But, you know, some people like to sit back and actually work out exactly what their message is and focus on that. So, you know, everyone's different. Yeah.
And I would guess, like you were saying, people write a book for different reasons. They've got different purposes. Their whys are different. Give us some examples, would you, in terms of, because there may be people out there right now thinking, I really got to get on with this writing a book thing. Everybody's doing it. I'm not standing out from the crowd. I'm not, you know, impressing anybody with what I'm doing right now. I need to get a book out there. I need to credential myself. I need to be an authority figure in my field, right? And they're thinking, but what do I write about? So what kind of ideas have you worked with recently for the people that have come to you? Or give us some ideas of the kind of things people generally write about when they come and see you?
Well, I think how-to is a really good one, because we live in such a fast-paced world and everyone wants a quick fix. You know, they want to know how to do something. In fact, they'd like you to do it, but a lot of the time they don't want to pay you to do it. So a how-to book, you know, I even have a little publishing how to publish a book, little pocket book. But, you know, people want quick fix. They want to be told how to do it. And so I tell people, you don't have to have 100,000 words to publish a book. You can do something with 20,000, even 10. My little book is only, this is the book. It's only, I think, about 10,000 or 12,000 words. And so it doesn't have to be, so long as you can say what you want to say, you know, in 10,000, 20,000 words, you can still get a message across.
Okay.
Yeah, so how-to are really good.
How-tos, how-to, yes.
Yeah.
I
so, you know,
absolutely love. I was just going to say, Blaise, I love what you're saying there about, you know, the length of the book, the amount of words. It's you know, in traditional publishing, it has been, you know, a book should be this long, this many pages. That's all gone out the window now. Robyn, you were saying everything's so different in the magazine world. It's all gone out the window. And I love the fact that anyone who has something to say can say it via a publishing platform. I'm so excited about that.
Yeah, definitely.
With the magazine, sorry, go on, Blaise.
Did you want to say anything about that, Robyn, in terms of what, I guess the magazine can be about whatever the industry is that they're
and it really, I think you made a really good point before, and I didn't want to jump in because you were making such a great point, is that it's why are they doing it? So we sit down like you do and work out with and this is what I would say to any small business owner with any marketing tool or whatever they're planning to do with their time other than spend it with their family and having fun and not their business. If they've got spare time and they want to do something in marketing, is to go, why am I doing this? What's the outcome? You know, what am I trying to achieve from this project? And if you admit to yourself that actually I just want to say I'm an author and I just want to have a book, that's okay. But it's getting at that resolution of what it is. And then as far as topic goes, that's where we then will derive the topic. So, for some of our clients, we create magazines that obviously talk to their audience. So I guess the other one is, who are they talking to? You know, why are they doing it and who do they want to reach and impact? And, you know, we've had some clients, and I hope she's not watching because I love her to death, but I did tell them that I was going to be on today. But, you know, she wanted to name her magazine something very, I'm not going to say the name because she'll know I'm talking about her, but let's just say it was Sunshine. It wasn't Sunshine, but it wasn't far off Sunshine. She wanted to name her magazine Sunshine, yet she was in a sort of a space where she was curing a health issue that a lot of women face. And whilst it was lovely to name her magazine Sunshine, you've got a lot of educating to do to tell people what your magazine is if it's just called Sunshine. Whereas we sort of hit our title, as you guys would with books. You know, you've got to make the title something that people, it speaks to the person that you want to talk to, so that they pick it up off the shelf or they stop their thumb when they're flicking on social or whatever it is. So, I think that's the critical part, is to make sure that, one, that you know who you're talking to, and two, you know why you're doing it. Because if you've got no outcome, it can make it really hard to see, you know, the forest for the trees when you're going, oh my God, I'm doing all this work. What for? So it keeps
that's a great point, Robyn, because I traverse through airports a lot, and you obviously have a lot of time in airports, and the books in the airports are great, and I always find myself buying one, unfortunately. I read
I buy 4, not 1, so you're all right.
I read half of it there, and then I'll think, right, I'll read this another time. Now I'll just buy it and I'll take it to read on the plane. But that's a good point about standing out, because there are well, I don't know, I can't you probably know this fact and figure better than I do, but there are billions and multi-billions of books out there, right? Amazon is full of them, bookshops are full of them.
Still not enough.
It's still not enough. No,
still not enough.
There is always something to write about, something new to write about. But what I find is I do go by the title of the book, and the look and the feel of the book,
and the colour.
And the colour.
If I'm looking for something trashy, I go looking for the pink and red. I scan and go, where's the trashy colour that I know is my holiday read? And then, so you go to the section, then you look at the title, is often the case. I agree. And I think, you know, we forget sometimes, we get so caught up in ourselves, and our message is so clear to us. But, you know, you've got to lay it out for people, you know, super easy. And, you know, I think that's an important part, is to... But then it's the promotion of, you know, the book, like the ladies will both hopefully agree with me, I'll assume it, that, you know, it's all great to produce anything in terms of content, whether it's a blog, your website, a book, a magazine, whatever it is you're producing as a business owner. But if you then sit back and go, I've done it, it's ready, and then you just wait for people to come running at you.
It doesn't happen.
And that's what we do with our clients, is it's the magazine, and it's hard to keep them on track to say, look, the magazine is this much of the process. Yes, you need to have the right green on that page, and yes, we can put the image of that person in an angle and not straight. But the important thing is, let's get the magazine out there, and let's then start doing, like we're doing today, like a Facebook Live saying, hi there, it's author of blah, blah, blah book, or it's editor of XYZ magazine. I want to talk to you today about XYZ. So we had one client who spent 6 months back and forthing with us on getting the look and feel just as she liked it. And then finally I said to her, enough, we're launching this magazine. The great thing is she was only doing digital, so we could put it down and put a new one up if we wanted to. And, of course, within 2 weeks she was on radio and being interviewed. She's like, oh, I get it now. Yeah. I get why.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I get why you wanted me to get the magazine out, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's all right having the tactic as part of the bigger strategy, but that is not going to by itself do anything. It sits on a bookshelf, or it sits on your desk and does absolutely nothing.
Or in your garage.
I think people underestimate the power of a book as well, or a magazine. They think, oh, it's just a product for sale, or it's just, you know, something to brag about, or it's a beefed up business card. But it has such a far-reaching power. Like if you use print on demand, as Deborah was talking about before, you have global reach for one. That's amazing. You also, because you are all over the internet in terms of the metadata that you put behind the book with print on demand, it also means that you're going to be more discoverable online. And so that means that your name is, you know, hopefully coming up all over the place. But, you know, I've seen people get, you know, so many more clients and lots of book sales, and, you know, so much more attention when they go to, say, trade fairs or, you know, festivals or whatever it is around what their industry is. And I think what people don't realise is how many doors it's going to open. I think they get surprised when they do actually launch the book and get out there. I've seen people get speaking gigs. I've seen people get asked onto, you know, to be on boards and part of, you know, working groups and all sorts of things. It's so far-reaching.
So it's a great.
You have to think of it like a tool.
Yeah,
you have to think of it like a tool, and it's a means to an end, not an end in itself. Is what I'm hearing you say, and that's certainly my experience.
Yeah,
and all that stuff you were saying about the.
So I'm just saying there are certain people out there, but they're out there and they're big players, big, huge players that can put a book out there and within even pre-launch, they've made the millions from the book. Yeah. But that isn't the case for most of us small business owners. It just isn't, because the book is, people don't even know who you are half the time. You've got to make
and all that,
the book,
the metadata. That what you're saying about the metadata and whatnot, and the print on demand and having the global reach, that is more powerful when you do more Facebook Lives and you do more posts around it. So you take your 20,000 words or whatever and you use bits and pieces of it and share it and show people what's in the book a little bit at a time, so they actually want it. And that helps with the, the
backlinks and
reach and yes, backlinks and whatnot. So you do get out there more. You've got to actually work with it all the time.
Yeah, that's a great point, Deborah, because I think people are still in that mentality of being scared of giving away too much of the book, because then people will not buy it. Do you still sense that? Because that's certainly how it used to be.
Give it away is my thought, depending on what you do. If you're in business and you know what your conversion rate is, you know how many books then you need to give away for your average client, then you know when and where you can do that. And then there's times when you'll sell it off your website or whatever. But the important thing is to think of it as a vehicle, not as an end in itself. That's
and free plus shipping now. Free plus shipping is such a great way to do it now. I mean, people are happy to pay. They understand there's a cost to pop it in the post. So you can usually wrap up $9.95 US, and then that covers well and truly your cost of production, your cost of the whatever it is, the book or the magazine, and people are feeling like you're giving them something for free. So I think it's a great tool, and I agree so much with what both you've said, that you can't just sit back and go, oh great, it's done. It's really where the game starts is once it's published, whatever it is. Yeah.
When I look at my little publishing book, they can actually use that book to publish themselves. They can do the whole thing. That it has all the information there, and I give it away all the time. But I also get clients from it because they go, oh, yeah, it's great, and yes, I could do it, but can you do it for me? So
it's not their business to publish.
Yeah, it's not everybody's forte, is it? It's just not.
And they don't want it to be. Some of them.
Yeah.
That's great. Have we got anything else that we can help small business owners with today in terms of publishing? We've covered a lot today, an awful lot.
Well,
this is gem.
One thing I don't know, and the ladies may have used this in a book, but we do it a lot with our magazines. And I name dropped, and I didn't mean to sound like I was a name dropper for Neil Patel, but I'm actually publishing a magazine. I didn't want everyone to go, oh, she's name dropping. But one of the things we do, I'm publishing a magazine called Standout Marketing to practice what I preach, and when we do a magazine, we ask our clients who they'd like to be positioned next to. So you might be somebody that's not known yet, but there are people in your niche or area that are known, and that you can position yourself, or what we say, stand on the shoulders of giants. Russell Brunson calls it the Dream 100. People that are of influence in your space, and so we actually will reach out to those people. So they give us we call it the Fabulous 50, just to put a spin on Russell's Dream 100. So we call it the Fabulous 50. They list the people in their space that they want to be associated with, and that they'd love to be positioned beside. And then we reach out for interviews in their magazines. So we get enormous, we've got about a 96% hit rate on people saying yes to contributing. And we've had some amazing contributors, from famous people to inspirational people, and it really doesn't matter whether they're famous in, one of our clients, the lady I was talking about with the Not magazine called Sunshine, she gave me a list of really influential doctors and people in her niche that was super important to her in positioning and credibility, like really, and believe it or not, in the US, they're quite famous in their niche, and, huge followings, millions of people on Facebook, and we were able to interview those people who, the doctors agreed to be in the magazine.
Right.
To be able to say I want to interview for my book or interview for my magazine is powerful. To say I want to interview for my blog is a harder, unless you've got massive,
of course,
massive stats. You know, it's a harder, whereas magazines, you know, as soon as you say that word, you don't even need to say what your circulation is. They don't even ask. As soon as we say magazine, you know, people have got a preconceived idea of what a magazine or a book is. And, yeah, that's how I was able to interview Neil Patel. Reached out, sent him on his contact us page, just reached out and said, you know, we'd like to interview you. Instantly came back with an email saying to his offsider, please set this up. And we're on, you know, having a Zoom chat. Yeah, so that's a really powerful tool is, you know, who are the people in your space that you want to be positioned beside, and how can you, you know, bring them into your book or magazine to give you clout and credibility.
Awesome. Definitely. So I'm just going to wrap it up today. Sorry, Deborah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, for those of us that are doing the books, that's about getting people to write the forwards that have clout, that have a platform of their own. Makes a huge difference. Yes,
that's pretty common in most books these days, isn't it? That you've got people who will kind of shout about you and say how they've enjoyed the book, or they know the person and they've enjoyed their work.
Testimonials as well is from people in that group. That, what did you call the Fabulous 50? Or
that's it.
Yep, awesome, loved it.
So let's assume, because this is going to go out after the show as well, so I'm going to put it out everywhere. So small business owners thinking right now, I've got to get on with this book writing thing. I've got to do something, got to get something out there. What would you say you would, if they were to approach you, what would be the things that you would expect them to have in place to be organized, super organized, let's assume, to be organized and to get this off the ground running? What things would you expect them to come to you already with to make this, you know, to shortcut that process?
Well, for me, I think they need to have a good idea of why they're doing it and what the outcome is. And so I always get them to work on 1 or 2 line pitch about what the book is about, because quite often they come to me and they start talking and I say, you've got 5 book ideas there. Let's focus on one of those ideas and that can be the first book. So that to me is really important, to actually know why and what you're doing it for. Like what is the pain point that you're going to help people with?
Mm-hmm.
That's where I would start, would be, who do you want to reach? Who's your client? Who's your avatar? What is their pain, and what can you do? What do you want to give them? And then start from there around, you know, shaping what service you have to match the pain of the person, and you know, how can you actually help them? It's that simple, isn't it? What can you do for them?
Yeah, and I think the 2 ladies are absolutely spot on. And I think the only other thing I would add to what they've already said is that what's the back end? So for us, it's, we'll bring you lots of eyeballs. So our magazines bring, you know, we launch to, you know, upwards of 500,000 people minimum when we launch a new magazine. So we get huge reach at every launch. It's like, well, great, if I bring you that many eyeballs, what then? You know,
what's it called?
So we put lead magnets, so you know, like ads in the magazine that are lead generators. So the advantage of predominantly our digital magazines, we do some print copies, but you know, what are they going to click to come to get your free report or to book a consultation? Or you know, you always want to think about the whole funnel though, and you know, don't go from hi, it's nice to meet you, let's get married. So what funnel can you take them through? I always say to my clients, it's like dating. Ease up a little bit. Let's get to know each other.
Enjoy the process.
Settle down. Let's enjoy it. Don't be so desperate for the dollar. You know, don't be so desperate for the dollar. So,
but it is very important to put something in there, though, because the other side of that is if you don't, it's really difficult when you find out about someone and you're reading about them and you like them, you want to work with them, you want to find out more about them, and there's nothing there.
Yeah.
Where do I go?
Right. Yeah, they go to your website. Your contact us page is the last page at the very back of your website with, you know, you don't have your social media icons. So we do all of that, a bit of an audit to say, well, how are we going to get in touch? Are you going to build a list? You know, we've got share your story and subscribe now options in the magazine so we can build a list, but then what? Yeah. You know, we're building you the list, but then what? So I think it's why, and that comes back to the why, but then almost like the how are you going to deliver on that why?
Yeah. Great advice. Awesome advice. So I think the big message from this is not the end point. It's the very beginning. You've got to have so much more that you're going to do with this book than you think you might need. You know what I mean?
It's
Very,
a
very
great
much so.
beginning, though. Publishing is a fantastic beginning, I have to say. It's a great place to start.
I agree.
And it's addictive too. Most people
It
who
is.
write one book will go, at the end of it, they might say, I'm never doing that again, because it is a bit of work. And then a few months later, they'll come back to me and they'll say, oh, I've got an idea.
Yeah, can't help it. Yeah.
I can imagine so much. Yes. Oh, thanks, ladies. I really do appreciate you joining me today and sharing your pearls of wisdom, for sure. You've got so much knowledge and experience between you all. So just to finish off, where can people get hold of you, Deborah, if they want to find you and get some help from you?
MJL Publications on .com.au or on Facebook.
Awesome. How long does it take to get appointments with you?
With me at this stage, probably a week. But there's buttons all over the website to log in for a free chat, free consultation. There's free resources that you can download from the website, and lots of information going up on MJL Publications on Facebook about what's happening. We've got some private groups and things like that people can tap into resources.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Blaise, how can people get in contact with you?
busybirdpublishing.com.au, or no, actually it's just busybird.com.au, or on Facebook there's Busybird Publishing. I also have a website called The Book Chick, so I have lots of information there, and we're running a few retreats. We've got a Bali retreat at the end of the year, so you could come away with us and write your book.
Oh, I might come invite you, right?
Yeah, that sounds lovely.
I'll just go away. I don't need the book.
Just come and watch.
I'll just come and relax. Yeah. And Robyn, how can people get hold of you?
Yeah, so I probably need to practice what I preach and build a better funnel after listening to those ladies. But you can we do a lot of selling on in events. So, but at the moment, readpublishing.group, and that's READ. It's actually my maiden name. Bizarrely, my dad was very excited when he said, "Oh, the name carries on," because he's got 3 girls. Yes. So Read Publishing, READ Publishing.group, or LinkedIn is probably a great way to message me. So Robyn Gipters, and hopefully you'll drop a link there because my name's hard to spell. But,
I will.
LinkedIn is a great place to reach out to me and touch base. But yeah, we are almost at our capacity right now. So we've only probably got another 2 mags that we'll do between now and probably October, November. So if anyone wants one, don't waste time.
Get in there fast.
Yeah.
Very
Awesome.
nice.
Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful day. I hope it warms up for you down there in Melbourne, Blaise.
Nice to see you, Karen.
Thank you.
See you. Take care.
Thanks for the opportunity to chat.
Bye.